bioenergetics. If you see the screen, your new chapter is that bioenergetics. Okay. So what is the meaning of bio? Bio means all living things, and energetic means the functions, the chemical reactions which will be happen inside the body, which is happen. We all of know all living things need food. So this food is broken down in their bodies and gives energy to our body. So how our body gets energy? So in this chapter, we will discuss different topics. First is given the topic which we will discuss today. That is your bioenergetics and the role of ATP. Okay. So look at your book. Okay. You can also see in chapter number 4, describe the structure of cell, and in chapter number 6 mention the role of enzymes in cellular functions. Yes, we have discussed in chapter number 4 in detail the structure of the cell and the parts which are present inside the cell. And in chapter number 6 we have discussed about enzymes, how do they work and how do they speed up the chemical reactions happening inside the body. And we also know this reality that a living cell exhibits ceaseless chemical activities. Okay, so we study that cells are like open systems. For example, substances are entering and the leaving the cell in the times. Yes, we also know this thing. Okay, many reactions are happening in our body at the same time, and many things are entering in the cell and many things are coming out from the cell. So this is all happen inside the body at the same time. So when we talk about bioenergetics, so keep in your mind, energy can be divided into two main forms. First is called kinetic energy and the second is called potential energy. So bioenergetic related to these two forms of energy. First is called kinetic energy and second is called potential energy. You all of know what is kinetic energy. Kinetic energy means when anything actively move inside the body. It means the all functions which are related to the movement of your inner parts that show kinetic energy in our body. And what is a potential energy? Potential energy is that energy which is stored in our body and which is used at that time when our body needs energy. So where this energy is stored, this energy will also be stored in our cells of the body. So if we see, we can see, if you see the screen, in living organisms, energy exists in two forms. First is kinetic energy, is actively involved in doing work, and potential energy is stored for future use. Is that clear to that energy? Before discussing bioenergetic, first we will discuss the energy. Energy can be exist in two forms. First is kinetic energy and second is that potential energy. Okay, so kinetic energy help to move things in our body, and potential energy is that which is already stored in our body and it used in that time when do we need this energy. Okay, now we will discuss how it is work in our body. Potential energy is stored in chemical bonds and is released as kinetic energy when these bonds break. We all of know. I want to explain you the food function inside our body. We all of know that we always take food which consists of organic materials. So what is the difference between organic and inorganic materials? Organic materials as that in which carbon and hydrogen molecules are present, and inorganic are materials those that in which one thing is missing. If we take an example of uh, organic materials, for example carbon and hydrogen bonds, they both are present in organic food. In organic food, for example, if we take an example of water, so water, there are two atoms of hydrogen, but it link with oxygen. So oxygen don't come into organic food. So water is an example of inorganic food, and organic materials, all things which we need, which we get which we need, which we get as a food to get energy for our body. So here first we will discuss the definition of bioenergetics. Bioenergetics is the study of energy relationships and energy transformation. These two things are very important in your definition. It is energy relationship. Energy relationship means I have told you our body need organic and inorganic both foods. Okay, so in organic food consists of carbon and hydrogen bonds only, and inorganic food consists of carbon can be consist on carbon and other atom with it. Okay, and energy transformations. So how this energy transfer from one bond to another bond means conversion in all living organisms. This is a definition of your bioenergetic. It is the study of energy relationship. How energy shows relationship, because in this relationship we are talking only two forms of energy, and that is kinetic energy and potential energy. So when potential energy convert into kinetic energy, at that time energy will be released. At that time energy will be released in the form of heat, and energy transform. So a simple energy can convert into a chemical energy. So these all things we will discuss in bioenergetics. So come to an example given in your book. Organisms obtain energy by metabolizing the food they eat or prepare. Now, living things consist of two main big groups. One consists of plants and second is called animals. So if we see plants and some microorganisms, for example, photosynthetic bacteria and algae, prepare their food from carbon dioxide and water in the presence of light by a process called photosynthesis. We all of know how plants make their food. Uh, Plants make their food by a process which is called photosynthesis, and also included some photosynthetic bacteria and algae. These are also comes into a plant group. But how animals get food? Whereas animals, fungi, and many microorganisms, non-photosynthetic bacteria, and protozoans get the prepared food. We all of know animals do not prepare their food by themselves. So they get the prepared food. So this is the difference between two big groups. Plants are autotrophs and animals are heterotrophs. Autotrophs who make the food by themselves, and animals who depend on prepared food. So keep in your mind these two things. Now come to your examples. In this example, they are telling us about organisms obtain energy by metabolizing the food they eat or prepare. So who eat? Definitely who prepare? Eat. Animals eat or prepare. Plants prepare their food. So food contains potential energy in its bonds. This is true that all food contains potential energy. It has energy in them. When these bonds are broken down, a large amount of kinetic energy is usually released. So when this food becomes the part of your body, so ultimately there is another process of digestion in our body. So ultimately this food becomes a part of our body, and because of that energy, heat is released and energy becomes the part of ourselves. You all of know, I can explain to you with a simple example. If you have taken breakfast early in the morning and whole day you never take anything, okay, so what will be happen? There will be a time come when you feel hungry, when you feel thirsty, so you need something to eat. But after some time, this stage will come, but after some time you will be feel relaxed. It means you have there is you have no need any food, you have no need of. So why it is happening? So why it is happening? It is happening due to potential energy, because you have taken breakfast early in the morning. You are showing kinetic energy inside your body. When this food completely becomes a part of your body, so a stage will come when you feel hungry. So when you feel hungry, at the after some time you will feel comfortable, and then you no need of food at any cost. So at that time, the potential energy will come. So what will be happen? Some of this energy is stored in the form of potential energy in the bonds of ATP molecules. So the energy which is stored already in your cells, that will work at that time, and you will feel hungry for some time, but after some time your body will be relaxed. So kinetic energy and potential energy, they both work at the same time, while the rest escapes as heat. So the potential energy stored in ATP is again transformed into kinetic energy to carry out life activity. Now here I am using the word again and again, ATP. What is ATP? ATP is a energy molecule, adenosine triphosphate. Its full form is adenosine triphosphate. I will discuss its structure in next page. So I hope you understand what is a bioenergetic. Uh, okay, now come to next page. You can also understand this function with the help of diagram. It is given in your book. You can also see here is a carbon dioxide. Who need the carbon dioxide? Definitely plants and some microorganism need carbon dioxide. Okay, so because of that, then it input of energy, light, radiant energy. Okay, so when carbon dioxide mixed with light, because of that, a bond carbon which consists of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. So it will be broken down, and we all of know when carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen bonds are combined, they make glucose C6H12O6. So CH is a coordinate covalent bond and O is different. So when it is broken down, so oxidation of food stuff to release energy. So at that time, energy will be released in the form of heat, and the potential energy which is already inside the ATP molecule. ATP molecule consists of ADP plus phosphate equal to ATP. I will explain you when I will explain you the structure of ATP. Then I will explain you okay, what is ADP and what is phosphorus atom. Okay, now you will see transformation of energy. So what is happening due to the food stored in ATP? Potential energy is stored in ATP in the body to perform work. So what will be happen? First, active transport will be produced. The reactions will be produced inside the body. So because of that, the reaction will be maintained. Okay, and after maintenance, it will be converted into chemical synthesis. And in both reactions, you can see heat is released. The heat which is released in these reactions, it will convert potential energy into kinetic energy. So you can also see this is a figure 7.1 given in your book. Some energy transformation in living organism. Note that heat is lost in every transformation. Some energy transformations in living organism. Some living organisms show active transport. This active transport convert into first it will when it will be maintained, when the reactions will be stable in the body, so the heat will be released, and when they will convert into chemical synthesis. So because of that, again heat will be released. We can also understand with the help of structure of glucose. For example, I have told you that carbon and hydrogen, these are two atoms which are the part of organic food, and oxygen is not the part of organic food. So when electrons are lost by oxygen, and when they combine with hydrogen and carbon. So because of that, what will be happen? From here, it shows the potential energy, and due to that, when they transfer their electrons to hydrogen and carbon, so because of that, what will be produced? Kinetic energy will be produced. So an ATP molecule will be produced. ATP molecule is the energy currency cell of the body. Now we will see our next topic. It is given oxidation reactions. Oxidation reduction reactions. This term is not new for you. You also have studied in your chemistry book. Okay, so what is oxidation? The loss of electrons in an atom. The loss of electrons in an atom is called oxidation reaction. And what is a reduction reaction? The gain of electrons in an atom is called reduction. So they are opposite to each other. Oxidation means the loss of electrons in an atom is called oxidation reaction. What is reduction? The loss of the gain of electrons in an atom is called reduction reaction. And collectively, they both are called redox reactions. Collectively, they are called redox reactions. In board exam, oftenly they ask the question, define redox reaction. So you never confuse at that time. You have to write oxidation and redox and reduction reaction definitions both. And sometimes they ask define oxidation reaction, and sometimes they ask what is reduction reaction. So then you have to write their definitions separately. Okay, now we will start our topic, oxidation reduction. Oxidation means loss of electrons, reduction means gain of electrons. So now we will start our topic. Various life processes in organisms involve constant flow of energy. Yes, there are many functions happening inside our body which need constant flow of energy, which can't be stopped at any cost. For example, our body needs energy. Okay, so how do we get energy? We get energy from the food. So food work as a fuel inside our body. If we never get the food, we will become weak and we cannot perform all functions. And food is not only gives energy to our body, but it is also important part of many functions, chemical reactions which happen inside our body. So this energy flow comprises the acquisition, transformation, and use of energy for various life processes like growth, movement, and reproduction. So this is clear because why this energy flow is necessary. Because of that, uh, it helps in growth, it helps in movement, and it helps in reproduction. And these processes play very important role in the life of any living organism. We all of know all living things need some characteristic in which they can move, they can reproduce, they can grow, they can respond, they can feel. So among them, these are very important: growth, movement, and reproduction. Okay, now see, for all life processes, oxidation reduction reactions, collectively they are called redox reactions. Underline in your book, are the direct sources of energy. So for all life processing, what do we need? We need redox reactions. So redox reactions is very important part of for our life processes, for our metabolic activities. Redox reactions involve exchange of electrons between atoms. I have told you in the starting of the lecture that every atom consists of electrons. So what is a redox reaction? Redox reaction is exchange of electrons between atoms. So the loss of electrons is called oxidation. You have to underline, it's a definition of oxidation. What is oxidation reaction? The loss of electrons is called oxidation, while the gain of electrons is called reduction. So it's a definition of reduction reactions. So you have to underline. I have told you the loss of electrons is called oxidation reaction and the gain of electrons is called reduction reaction. So electrons can be an energy source. So but do we understand that electrons, definitely you all of know the structure of an atom, that every atom consists of electrons. So electrons are the main source of energy. So it depends upon their location and arrangement in atoms. For example, now we will understand with the help of an example. When they are present in oxygen, they make stable association with oxygen atom and are not good energy source. But if electrons are dragged away from oxygen and attached to some other atoms, for example, carbon or hydrogen, they make unstable association. They try to move back to oxygen, and when this happens, energy is released. Its example is very simple. Okay, when oxygen react with carbon, it will make carbon dioxide. When oxygen react with hydrogen, it will make water. We all of know. So when in this paragraph, in this example, we can understand okay, uh, when they are present in oxygen. Oxygen is an atom. It has its own electrons. Okay. So when its electrons will keep in oxygen atom, they make stable association with oxygen atom. Okay. So they will be called in a stable condition in an oxygen atom. But in and are not good energy source, but they will not show at that time any energy. But if electrons are dragged away from oxygen, but if electrons are dragged away, so dragged away means when there will be a loss of electrons from oxygen atom. So what this reaction will be called? It will be called a oxidation reaction, because in this reaction oxygen losing its electrons. So when these electrons are dragged away from oxygen and attached to some other atom, and if they are attached with some other atom, for example, if they attach with carbon, so we all of know oxygen if react with carbon, it will convert into carbon dioxide. So carbon is a organic material and oxygen is an inorganic material. And if it make combination with hydrogen, so oxygen is a inorganic and hydrogen is a organic. So when it combine with hydrogen, it will make water. When it combine with carbon, it will make carbon dioxide. So at that time, it will come into unstability condition. So to complete its stability, these both atoms will again react to oxygen. So they make unstable association. They try to move back to oxygen, and when this happens, energy is released. I hope you understand this example. Oxidation reduction reaction. Oxidation means the loss of electrons. Reduction means the gain of electrons. So in this example, we have taken an example of oxygen. Oxygen, when its electrons are in its atom, they are in a stable condition. They no need, they never show any energy source. But when they move, so when oxygen loses electrons, when it loses, so it will be a oxidation reaction. And when they make combination with carbon or hydrogen, so what will be happen? Carbon or hydrogen getting the electrons, so it will be a reduction reaction. So when oxidation and reduction reaction will be happen, they make unstable association. They try to move back to oxygen, and when this happen, energy is released. So in simple words, we can say if an atom loses electron and if any atom get the electrons. So at that time, definitely energy will be released. So loss of electron showing the kinetic energy, and gain of electron showing the potential energy. So kinetic energy can change into potential energy. So this is completely called a oxidation reduction reaction or redox reactions. Okay, now you will see uh, it's a last paragraph. In living organisms, redox reaction involves the loss and gain of hydrogen atoms. What is happening? Loss and gain of hydrogen atoms. We know that a hydrogen atom contains one proton and one electron. Yes, we also know the structure of hydrogen. If you keep in your mind geochemistry, structure of an atom, a hydrogen has only one proton and only one electron. So it means that when a molecule loses a hydrogen atom, it actually loses an electron. So when hydrogen loses its electron, it has only one electron in its outer body. So this process is called oxidation because it is losing electron. And similarly, when a molecule gains a hydrogen atom, it actually gains an electron. So it will be called a reduction reaction. It's a simple. If an atom loses the electron, it is an oxidation reaction. When an atom getting the electron, so it means it is getting this is a reduction reaction. I hope you understand it. Now come to next page. Okay, now we will understand this redox reaction with the help of a diagram. You can see in the screen. Yes, oxidation reduction reaction. See the screen. You can see, for example, we said this is an atom. Okay, so this atom losing two electrons. You can see in the diagram losing two electrons. Oxidation compound A loses electrons. So what it loses two electrons. So this atom will convert. Uh, this atom is called oxidized atom. So what will be called? It will be called an oxidized atom. So what will be happen inside it? So what will be happen inside? So what is happening? It is showing the kinetic energy. This process is showing the kinetic energy. Uh, on the other hand, you can see it is an B atom. So what is happening inside it? It is gaining two atoms. You can see here, it is receiving, it is getting two electrons. So this atom is called a reduced atom. Means it is showing the redox, it is showing the reduction reaction. So reduction compound B gains electrons. So in simple words, through the diagram, we can understand in oxidation reduction reaction, an atom loses its electron. It can be one electron, it can be two, or it can be more than two. Okay, so because of losing the electrons, this atom is called an oxidized atom. And on the other hand, if we see, it is another atom which is called B atom. So when it gain two electrons, you can also see when it gain two electrons. So because of that, this is called a reduction because it is getting two electrons. So this is called a reduction reaction. So this process, when this process is happened inside the body, because of that, our body gets energy. So now after this, we will discuss, this is a process. Now we will discuss what is the importance of ATP molecule. Because I'm telling about you again and again ATP. So what is ATP? ATP is abbreviation or adenosine triphosphate. The cell's energy currency. It means the whole energy in the cells comes from the ATP molecule. But question is that how this ATP is formed inside our body. First, we will discuss its introduction. It is given in your side box. ATP was discovered in 1929 by Carl Lumen. Okay, you have to underline its date, and the scientist name, because they both are important for your MCQs, and was proposed to be the main energy transfer molecule in the cell by the Nobel Prize winner Fritz Lippmann in 1941. So the person who won the Nobel Prize in this field, he proposed that ATP is the main energy transfer molecule in the cell. Now we will discuss its structure and how it works in the body. So look at the screen. The major energy currency of all cells is a nucleotide called adenosine triphosphate. It is the main energy source for majority of the cellular functions like synthesis of macromolecules, DNA and RNA and proteins, movement, transmission of nerve impulses, active transport, exocytosis and endocytosis. Uh, in this paragraph, there are some difficult words. I will explain you. The major energy currency of all cells is a nucleotide. I will explain you what is a nucleotide when I explain the structure. Uh, Nucleotide called ATP. It is the main energy source majority of the cellular functions. You all have to know our body consists of many cells, so many cellular functions happen inside the body. For example, synthesis of macromolecules. We all of know in chapter number 1 you have studied we have two types of molecules inside our body, micromolecules and macromolecules. Micromolecules means which we can see only with the help of microscope, or macromolecules which are large in size. So synthesis means when they are absorbed inside our body. Okay, when they are absorbed inside the body. Synthesis of macromolecules. And macromolecules consist of DNA, RNA, and proteins movement. Okay, and transmission of nerve impulses. Okay, how our brain send message to our body organs and how body organs send message back to our brain. Active transport, okay, how these functions actively work inside the body, and exocytosis and endocytosis. So these exocytosis, endocytosis, you also cellular eating and cellular drinking. These options you also study in your chapter number 4. So the ability of ATP to store and release energy is due to its molecular structure. So first I will discuss the structure of ATP molecule. ATP molecule, each ATP molecule has three subunits: adenine, a double ring nitrogenous base, a ribose, a 5-carbon sugar, and 3 phosphate groups in a linear chain. Now you will see the diagram. I will explain you. Okay. First of all, ATP molecule consists of three parts. First is called adenine. Okay, it is its structure is it is a nitrogenous base. It is made by a nitrogenous base base structure. Okay, second part is ribose. It is made by penta sugar. Penta sugar ribose. Collectively, it is called a ribose. You can see it is in the position of penta. 2, 3, 4, and 5. It has 5 walls: 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It means it has penta sugar means it has 5. It is made by 5 uh, 5 sugar bases. Collectively, it is called ribose. And the third part of ATP molecule A, it consists of 3 phosphate molecules. P means for phosphorus. Okay, so 1, 2, and 3 phosphorus molecules. Now we will see how it is converted into adenosine. Okay, adenosine, actually its structure is made by adenosine and ribose. So when its structure only consists of adenosine and ribose, then it is called a nucleoside. What is it called? It is called nucleoside when its structure only consists of adenine and ribose. At that time, it is called nucleoside. But when these three phosphorus molecules are joined to this structure, which structure? ribose, and adenine. When these three phosphor molecules are combined with these two parts, ribose and adenine, then it is converted into nucleotide. The nucleotide term which you have seen in your starting of the starting of this topic, the major energy currency of all cells is a nucleotide. So I have explained you how nucleotide is formed. You have to understand its structure carefully, because this is without understanding you can't learn it. Okay, so when it consists of adenine and ribose, then its structure is called nucleoside. But when these three phosphorus molecules combine with it, so because of that, then it convert into nucleotide. This is the introduction of ATP structure. Now I will discuss how it is converted into AMP, ADP and ATP. Okay, so keep in your mind, this is actually the structure of ATP molecule. Okay, so when this structure combine only with this one molecule, when it combine only with one P phosphorus molecule, then it will convert into AMP. AMP means adenosine monophosphate. Mono means one molecule. Okay. After that, when this structure combine with two phosphate molecules. So what are these? One molecule and two molecules. When these two molecules phosphors will combine with this structure, then this molecule will convert into ADP. A means adenosine diphosphate. Di means two. M means mono, single, D means di, two. When this structure combined with these three phosphorus molecules, three phosphate groups, so then it will be converted into ATP. Then it will convert into ATP. Okay, and the next form is that NADPH. So inside our body there are four important cells work. First, the most highest energy cell is NADPH. We will discuss in next page. Second one is NADPH convert into ATP molecule, and ATP molecule convert into ADP molecule, and ADP molecule can be converted into AMP. So these four molecules play important role inside our body to produce energy. Now look at here, because ATP plays a central role as energy currency in all organisms, it must have appeared in the early history of life. Okay, now we'll see in next page. Come to next page.